Hey lovely people, great to have you with me. It's always good to know you're there. We're trying to join the dots and figure out what the powers that ought not to be are up to. Before I get into this week with a monologue, please let me ask you, if you would, to support this channel practically. Go to patreon.com, find me by name, part with a bit of cash. About $5 a month, price of a cup of coffee. Sign up. But you'll join the family. You become one of us, take part in our conversation that's endless. You get early access to all my new content. You get exclusive access to a weekly question and answer session, which is a bit like a conversation in real time. You can ask me anything, nothing's off the table, and the details are down there somewhere. Okay, let's get started. I'm about to rant. Nothing will change until you and enough of the people around you wake up to reality and launch a campaign of consistent non-compliance with the anti-human trajectory that manipulative elites have set us up on. Right, that's a quote. Those are not my words. I think it's the first time I've ever started a monologue with somebody else's thoughts. However, those words express my personal feelings perfectly. Excoriating is the word I'd use to describe the statement made on X this week by my friend Nick Hudson. Well, he's many things. A bit of a philosopher is the main point of interest for me, but he's a private equity investor based in South Africa. Quote, "It does not matter whether you label the centralising ambitions of those elites as socialism, communism, technocracy, globalism or fascism. The important thing about centralisation is that it absolutely requires censorship and comprehensive obliteration of rights and freedoms, and that is wholly incompatible with the flourishing of human beings." I'll pause there and let my dog out of the room. What a pleasure, at least, to contemplate, to listen to somebody else contemplating the very idea of the flourishing of human beings. Nick and I have had many conversations over the years about the existential threat posed to that flourishing by centralisation. Centralisation might be the most dangerous infection threatening human life on Earth. In fact, threatening life on Earth full stop. It's especially dangerous now, after all the effort that has gone into rendering the mass of the population of the so-called West helpless and dependent. That's uncomfortable, but it's a fact. Science and its offspring, technology, have provided incalculable gifts, and I won't deny it, inasmuch as more lives than ever before have been made easier, infinitely less labour-intensive, more convenient. I mean, we used to say healthier, but I think we've passed a tipping point, and I don't think that's the case anymore. But while one hand has given, the other has taken away much, much more than we could have known. The wisdom of the ages is carried by everyone in every pocket. But at the same time, most people know next to nothing. They can look it up, but they don't know anything. They're certainly incapable of taking care of themselves, far less being in any way independent or self-sufficient. Cars practically drive themselves, and yet who among us could fix so much as a lawnmower? Computers and the internet make everything just a click away, but who knows how to grow food, or to hunt, or to make some clothes to clothe our nakedness? Who even bothers to remember a loved one's phone number anymore? Far less a line of poetry. We've been seduced by insidious centralisation. Without giving it so much as a thought, we have accepted top-down, one-size-fits-all solutions to everything. For convenience and a life sold to us as easier and therefore better, we've forgotten the meaning of life itself. The opening line of Nick's post on X this week has it that distortion of reality by tightly controlled media and highly censored social media and by actor politicians has become so intense that many have disconnected from reality on many levels. Democracy has long been dysfunctional, with manipulation of electoral results and control of candidates for election, making a mockery of democratic processes and the roles of unelected officials coming to dominate those of the elected ones. End quote. Reconnecting with reality involves chewing the damned hard bullet that we have to take responsibility for at least some of the situation in which we find ourselves. People around me insist that there must surely be a revolution soon, a civil war, blood in the streets. I don't think so. For all of the above mentioned reasons, most are in no condition to fight in any physical sense. It's not realistic in any way. Americans, those on the other side of the Atlantic, they've got their Second Amendment granting the right to bear arms. Most of the rest of us were disarmed long ago. But as Nick points out, it is in our power to withhold our compliance, our cooperation. Gandhi, Mohandas K, Mahatma sought unsuccessfully, as it turned out, to promote peaceful non-compliance as the means to secure Indian independence. British scholar Gilbert Murray wrote of Gandhi in 1918 that, quote, persons in power should be very careful how they deal with a man who cares nothing for sensual pleasure, nothing for riches, nothing for comfort or praise or promotion, but is simply determined to do what he believes to be right. He is a dangerous and uncomfortable enemy because his body, which you can always conquer, gives you so little purchase upon his soul. The depth of the trouble we are in is painful to contemplate. There's no easy fix. It's going to be generational. Well, let's remember anyway that it's easy fixes and our acceptance of them that have got us into this mess. Nick and I talked to you about how solutions have to be local. Answers to questions have to confront the reality of the people closest to the problem, free of the meddling of central government or any other centralising clique. I mean, in an ideal world, I am an anarchist, but I know that that ideal world is all but unobtainable, inasmuch as I want minimal government. I want people to be knowledgeable and capable enough to take care of their own governance. But utopia is so appealing because it's the place that doesn't exist. All of it, though, depends upon and demands individuals having the knowledge and skills to enable them meaningfully and usefully to take responsibility. And that'll be a long, hard road. But you've got to start out on that journey of 1,000 miles with a single step. Centralisation is always the ultimate objective of that most dangerous clique, comprising those who are both clever and profoundly stupid, uncomprehending, and so despising of humanity. Centralisation is the fetish of those who refuse to accept complexity, to accept that life on Earth is infinitely complex, human society included, and they flatter themselves in their stupidity in thinking they can come up with one-size-fits-all solutions to anything and everything. Those of a centralising mindset have driven us to where we are. As Nick wrote, in this environment, vast and completely fabricated narratives have been successfully launched upon unsuspecting populations. With respect to COVID, there was no pandemic. With respect to climate change, the carbon dioxide output of humans is irrelevant. And there I would jump in again and draw attention to that recent volcanic eruption in Sicily. Mount Etna, the CO2 released by volcanoes utterly dwarfs the contributions made by humanity. But back to Nick. With respect to central banking, your money is being stolen by currency debasement. With respect to immigration, the flood is really a planned importation of people chosen to extinguish local culture and mores. With respect to all publicised wars, the causes and motives are misrepresented and the interests they serve obscured. With respect to trans rights, trans people have degenerate cognition, not legitimate knowledge of what it's like to be the other gender. End quote. Beware of centralisation in all its forms. Ideologies are centralising, claiming to have all the answers in one manifesto. Organised religions are centralising, claiming to have all the answers in one book. Part of the allure of centralising forces and cliques is the offer of being led to the promised land, taken by the hand and led. And so part of non-compliance is accepting there are no heroes on the horizon, no cavalry coming to save us. No ideology or religion has the answers, and neither does any one man or woman. The evidence of our predicament is all around us. We were promised the overnight end of war in Ukraine. That's going from strength to strength. It's nearly leading us into World War III. We were promised an end to the horror inflicted month after month and year after year on the people of Gaza by Israel. Ask yourself why the stuff of life is being greedily centralised. Sources of energy, arable land, sources of food, drinking water, money, even gold, all being heaped under the centralised control of those who want everything. Those thieves are motivated by fear of the rest of us. Once upon a time, there were limits on the reach of centralisation. Geography, the tyranny of distance, logistics, manpower, the ability to keep an eye on what the proles were doing and even thinking. Now the latest iteration of technology has made possible at last, and if we are not careful, for all time, total control of everything and everyone. Now the solution they have in mind is to have us finally hobbled, shackled in 15-minute ghettos, our central bank digital currency tokens turned off if we dare to cross the boundary or seek to buy the wrong thing, our every move watched, our every thought read. Centralised food, money and energy will give total control to those who fear and despise humanity, who are anti-human by nature and who, unless and until they can be rid of us, will see us trapped in a digital cage, dosed and drugged up on God knows what, and otherwise sedated by virtual reality and the rest of it. We're having war waged upon us by those who despise people, the very idea of people. The fight back may not be physical, kinetic, but it must be psychological in part. That fight back can begin with saying no. Simple, peaceful refusal to cooperate or comply with hellscapes like those that will be resultant from accepting a digital ID. Refusal to cooperate might not sound like much, but it is all we realistically have. And anyway, it may yet prove to be all we need. There are billions of us. Imagine billions of people not complying. And the fact that there are billions of us troubles the clique enormously. That centralising clique comprises as well a profoundly peculiar sort. The evidence suggests they're motivated by reasons that remain unclear, always to tell us, or at least to signal to us in advance what they mean to do next, to us. But even in the face of it, even when you're being told what's about to happen, too many people settle for failing or actually refusing to notice, turning a blind eye and a deaf ear, and shrug their shoulders, keep their heads down, their mouths shut, hoping for the best, and hoping the crocodile just keeps eating the noisy neighbours. It has long been a fundamental tenet of law that he who remains silent is deemed to have granted his consent. If you just keep your mouth shut, it's taken as read that you're okay with whatever happens to you next. The time for being silent in return for what looks and feels like convenience is over. Hoping for the best won't cut it, not least because the hopium is among the drugs being pushed at us by the very people who threaten us most. Beware of false prophets, the people that promise solutions that only they can provide and that require our compliance. They threaten us most. Victory over those who would centralise us into holes in the ground, literally, demands finding the courage not to be nice. It's uncomfortable not to be nice. People are raised to be nice. Just be nice. To hell with that. Don't be nice. It's harder and the path of a true human being to not be nice when it's required, to be non-compliant, uncooperative, awkward, stubborn, withholding of consent, and when it comes down to it, simply saying no.